All right. Welcome, everyone. This is day number 3. Day number 3. And as usual, I'm going to show you the PowerPoint first. So let me spotlight myself. If you're in a place that is a little bit noisy, please make sure that you're completely mute. Make sure that you're muted. All right. All right. So let's go. I'll share the PowerPoint for day number 3, just so you can see the outcomes that we have for today, okay? And today we're looking at we're looking at symbiosis, okay? And I will share the PowerPoint. Where are you guys? Okay, let's share the PowerPoint. All right, let's see. Uh, I'm still getting there. All right.
Hello, Prof. We're loving your pink. It suits you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm a pink girl. I love pink so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I wrote that in the chat too, but I love
Oh,
it.
thank you. All right, there we go. We did synergy yesterday. So let's see. Symbiosis, okay? Those of you science people, you know about this already. It's a close relationship between in a particular system, okay? So that's what it is. It's how they survive together. How do they survive together in that particular system? So that's what that means. And so today the agenda is we're going to look at the relationship advantage. We'll look at a particular symbiotic model. We'll look at the symbiosis table, and then we'll do a closing ceremony. That is what we have on ground for today. All right. The outcome is building relationships that do not drain you, creating mutual growth in partnerships. Live with a 30-day connection plan and commit to one relationship and one collaboration today. All right, that's what those are the outcomes I am hoping that I'm striving for today. All right, so let's do it. Let's do it. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk. Um, I have to kind of get this PowerPoint. It keeps, hold on. Do you guys still see? Am I still sharing the PowerPoint? What
No,
do you
it's
guys
off
see?
now. It's off
Okay,
now.
It's off.
excellent,
It's off now. We saw
Thank
it before.
you.
excellent. So, so today the theme is we're talking about symbiosis is the noun, right? Symbiotic, which is the adjective. It's about how do things that are not homogeneous actually thrive together. Some of us have stifled our growth because we have to be with just a particular group. We have to be with a particular people. We have to be in this. We have to isolate ourselves in a little way. No, God has created such diversity in this world with different people, with different places, in different environments that we all grow together. Like, so in 2026, how are we going to nurture? Are we going to venture out of our spaces? Because remember, in serendipity in day 1, we talked about being flexible, psychological flexibility, being able to move when you're supposed to move, being able to see things and hear things and respond in kind. But so how do we do that when you're in 2026, if you're in a place where we're a group of people that you're so completely different, they're so different from you. And how are you going to be able to get yourself to the point where you can relax and benefit from those situations. Does that make sense? And so we're going to look at it in terms of relationships. We're going to look at it in terms of transactions, reciprocity. We're looking at those today. But before we do that, I want to just go back a little bit from yesterday, some things that I just kind of just picked up in the comments, because I go back and read the comments afterwards, and some of the verbal comments that we also had, right? Um, in day one, we talked about serendipity. So if you were not here, get the recording. And we also have a workbook we'll offer you after this. If Bimpe comes here, if Bimpe is here, she'll be able to do that. There's a workbook I'm finishing up that we're gonna offer you for this, so you can actually use it for the entire 2026. Um, so in serendipity, we've talked about openness. We talked about being attentive. We talked about a fast follow-up. In day two, yesterday, synergy, we practiced alignment, that aligning, clean roles, collaborations. How are we doing this very without stressing, right? But all of this are to create breakthrough moments. But before we go deeper into symbiosis today, I want to name something that kind of noticed yesterday. Some things that just came up, just came up to me yesterday. Like, if you have ever experienced anything particularly and you've experienced it continuously, your brain takes that as the template of what to expect. So if you've been in groups or teams or projects with people who have been combative, or who tell you they're going to be there but they're not there, all of these things, when you might not even mean to act that way, but your brain already thinks that that's what's going to happen. So your job in 2026 is to retrain the brain to say, this is a new era. This is a new year for me. This is a new moment for me. I'm not going to be guarded. All right. I'm not going to be guarded. I'm going to do something different this year. So when your brain is trying to tell you, that might not work, that might not work, I want you to say, oh yes, it will. So you need to rephrase that and reframe it for yourself, right? If your groups and your relationships, usually some of them might be very just conflict ridden. We don't want that, so we have to figure out a way to do something different. So I want to be very clear about where we're going. This is not a business seminar at all, in any way. This is literally a transformative seminar. It's a breakthrough seminar. It's a breakthrough workshop, right? And we're looking at things from different perspective. But the important thing is, if you have histories of disappointments, if you have histories of betrayals, if you have histories of being misunderstood, if you have histories of being overworked, if you have history of being blamed constantly, if you have history of very unbalanced nervous system, what is going to do is those histories will your nervous system is going to want to protect you. Your brain is going to want to protect you. All right. It's learn to brace for impact. It's going to want to brace for impact. Oh, okay, this is what's going to happen. So it's always in a fight or flight situation, right? Always ready for conflict. I don't want us to do that this year at all. Okay. We need to regulate your nervous system. You have to regulate your nervous system. If you're always in a fight or flight or frozen or fawning mode, not this year, not in 2026. We're not doing that. We're not going constantly to be in a stress response system. We don't want that, because when that happens, you become reactive in life. You become reactive. And a reactive person is somebody who is in their emotional brain and not in this executive brain right here. So we do not want you to be reactive. So if you feel yourself holding back about some of the things that we've shared, it doesn't mean that you're difficult. It simply means that your nervous system is telling you, no, no, I don't want to experience that anymore. The breakthrough, here's what we're offering in these workshops. The breakthrough is not simply the techniques that we're teaching. The breakthrough is the perspective that we're changing. It's in the lens through which we're viewing life in 2026. The techniques are good. Some of you are taking notes. The techniques are good. They help you organize people. They help you organize life. But the perspective helps you see something different. It helps you trust again. It helps you grow differently. It helps you stop expecting the other shoe to drop. Does that make sense? So day one was not just a warm up. Day one was the foundation of this. So if you're joining us only in day three, you should watch day one. That's the foundation, serendipity. It taught us to open up. It taught us to notice without fear, to respond without thinking and thinking negatively, or it taught us to respond without shrinking from, with fear. You know, it taught us to change our perspectives, to change our behavior. And when we change our behaviors, we change our outcomes. A lot of us are trying to change outcomes when our lens is very dirty. Our lens is very skewed. We need to change how we see. In psychology, when we're training clinicians, we have a term called conceptualization. That means, how are you seeing this client? How are you seeing the things that they're telling you? It's how are you conceptualizing it? Do you understand what I'm saying? Because we all see things differently. So how are you seeing life? How are you seeing your situation? So sometimes we might need to fix the lens and the way in which we're seeing. So when we change our outcome, invariably we're going to change our story. And I want our stories to change in 2026. They're not because that you don't have a good story, but you want some, we're all moving into higher places, into higher grounds, into better places, right? So how is your story going to change in 2026? Some of you are getting into yeah, we've talked about maturing, you're whether in your 30s, some of you here are in your 20s, some of you are in your 30s, some of you are in your 40s, some of you are in your 50s, 60s, 70s, you're getting there, right? each at each decade of your life, think of it, how is my story going to change? So today, symbiosis is not asking you to pretend that people are perfect. That's not what we're going to say today. It is asking you to stop letting the past conflicts control your future connections. All right. So the experiences that you had in the past, we're not bringing them into 2026, right? And it doesn't mean that we're building blind trust either. What we're doing is we are building wise wise trust, as opposed to blind trust. Wise trust says, I can connect without losing myself. That's wise. I can connect without losing myself. Wise trust says, I can set boundaries without shutting down. That's wise. Wise trust says, I can collaborate without abandoning my own needs. That's wise. Wise trusts will say that. So if you're here today and you're like, oh, this sounds so good, but man, it might not work for me because in the past this hasn't worked. I want you to try one thing today, and that is decide that you are going to step into a new place. Stay open to the possibility of what you being in this workshop can do for you. And I've received so many comments from you guys. Thank you for all of your comments. The person that has changed the most in these 3 days is myself. I cannot tell you, I've been listening to this and I just get excited about it. And so today, when we're looking at symbiosis today, what does it mean? What is that? When we're talking about symbiosis, what does it mean? This is where we build relationships that grow together. This is how do we get along within systems? We don't want relationships that drain us. We don't want relationships where one person is constantly carrying the burden for everyone, right? We want relationships where we can both grow. There's a win-win situation. So before we move on, we're going to take some deep breaths. How many of you remember the lion's breath from yesterday, from day 1 and 2? Well, we're going to do it again. But I think what I want to do today is give you some counts because in the past, I think I just allowed you to just breathe in and breathe out. All right, so I'm going to give you a count. So I want you to inhale for like 4 or 5 seconds, okay? So you are going to exhale after number 5. So count in your head. Okay? That's how we're doing it. All right, so unmute yourself if you do not have noise in your background, please unmute yourself and we're going to breathe together. All right? Are you ready? Are you all with
Yes,
me?
yes.
Yes, we
We're
are.
ready.
Wait.
Okay, I
Yes,
know
We're
yes.
it's
here.
Friday, but come on now. I need some more passion in
We're
here,
here.
okay?
We're
Are we
here and
ready?
ready.
Yeah,
We're
Okay.
ready.
we're ready.
We're
All
ready.
right. All right. So we're gonna do 3 breaths. So count it in on the count of 5, you're going to exhale. But I'm not gonna count for you. You're going to do it in your mind.
Ah,
Okay? So let's do it again. Number 1.
ah,
Oh, see, some of you, your high is not even, you got to let it all out.
okay.
That's why it's called the lion's breath, man. You know how the lion roars? Some of you need to be, if you are in your car, you can even do it louder because you can't scare anybody. All right, let's do one more. Ha! It needs to come from like your belly, guys, from your belly. Ah, you know? All right, well done. All right, so let me know that you're here. Put where you're from in the chat box. If you have learned anything these 3 days that you're here, let's just see some love. Let's see some emojis that you are here. You love to be here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It makes me feel happy that you guys are learning as I'm learning. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love it, love it, love it. And thank you for coming because if you don't come, we can't teach, right? So thank you for that. I appreciate it. Right.
A
All
big
right.
thank you to
So,
you.
oh, thanks. Thank you. I receive all the love, by the way. I'm receiving the love right here. I'm receiving the love. Thank you so much. Absolutely. All right. So, when we're talking about why connection is the advantage. Why connection? When we're talking about being connected, what word comes to your mind? Put that in the chat box. And those of you, please, Esther and Busayo, can you help me with muting people who need to be muted? All right. When we talk about connection, what comes to mind for you, though? When we talk about connection, give one word, put it in the chat box. The one word that comes when we talk about connection, what is that word for you? When we talk about connection, what comes in mind? What comes to your mind? All right. uh, friendship, unity, bond. All right. Opportunities. Okay. Communication, collaboration, friendship, partnership, joy. Oh, is that joy for connection? I like it. Sync. All right. Mutual goals and values, relationship, influence. All right. Keep it coming. I like it. Engagement. Very good. Love, 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 love. Absolutely. you know so when we're talking about connection, we're talking about togetherness, right? We're talking about all those things that you've said over there. Those are the things that we're talking about. Most people think success comes from working harder. We talked about this in day one, that success comes from working harder. How many of you are just tired of working harder? Come on. No, we don't want to work harder. We want to work smarter, right? More effectively. Um, so, but we've worked harder. You have done everything, but you're still not where you want to be. All right. So, what we want to look at today is how relationships can help speed up things for you. All right. The right people can speed up your healing. Your right people can expand your vision. The right people can open doors you could not open yourself. All right. All you need is the right people. Symbiosis means that we are growing together. We are doing this together, that we both win. We both become stronger because we are connected. All right? We are connected. So my hope for everyone, my prayer for us in 2026 is that we build those strong connections with the people that we're supposed to build them with, and in this year, so that we can move higher, we can move where we need to be. All right. So the first new concept that we're going to talk about today is relational wealth. Hey, how many of you want that? How many of us want relational wealth? All right. Relational wealth. All right. That is the first concept we're looking at today. Relational wealth. What is that? You know, relational wealth is about strength, is about safety and access you build through healthy relationships. When I said relational wealth, all of you were seeing dollar signs, right? Yeah, it doesn't mean that it's not necessarily about the dollar sign. This is not that relational wealth. That in the Yoruba language, there's a thing that says in your lasho, something like that. Am I right? In your lasho, something like that. Which means
Yeah,
that
you're correct.
which means that
Your last
oh, how do I translate that? Which means that
People are you are
People
covering.
are you
People are your
covering?
covering.
Yeah.
thank you.
Yes, it's just like the concept of Ubuntu.
Yes, absolutely. That people are your cup, that people surround you, that is your wealth. It's not just the money you have, it's that you're in that you when people are around you, when they're young, you have people that you belong to and they belong to you, that is wealth. That's what relational wealth is about. And it's something that we're losing when people move into silos. When people move into different silos and people don't even talk to their neighbors, nobody knows what everybody's doing. Everybody's just in their own little spot, right? Relational wealth is about the strength, the safety, and the access that you build through healthy relationships. So there's strength in relationship, there's safety in relationships, and especially it gives you access. So what does that mean? Access. Look, if you're in my core, if you're part of my people, right? When you would have access into my life, into some areas of my life that other people might not have access into. You have access into my relationships. You have access to the people that are, how many of you you met your friends and then you became friends with them, and like those kind of things. You have access because you're in relationships. Money matters. We're not saying that money doesn't matter, Skills matter. We're not saying that skills don't matter, but relational wealth often decides how far you go. The quality of your relationships are important. My father used to say back in the day when I was growing up, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. I don't know if parents still say that. But back in those days, they would, he would say that. Show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. But relation and that's all that's valid. Relational wealth often decides how far you go and how well you recover when you're hit, when life hits you. Relational wealth. Who are the people surrounding you? Who are the people that you surround? Right? Relational wealth looks like this. People who tell you the truth. Not yes people. People who tell you the truth. People who connect you to opportunities, you know? Who connect you to opportunities, not people who hide everything from you. It's like if they know something, they share it with you. People who connect you to opportunities. People who support you without trying to control you. People who celebrate you without being envious of you. Who just want all of us to do well. Do you understand? We all just want to do well. Well, people who share what they have. I'm not naturally I love to look if I go to a shop and I find something that I really like or whatever, I'm that person. If I use it, I'm that person that would blast it all over the place. Oh my God, have you guys heard about this? Have you heard about this? And then my sisters would say, yes, we heard about it 2 years ago. Why are you getting excited? And then I'll be like, how can you have heard about this and you haven't shared it? You understand? For me, whatever you should be able to share it with everyone so that everybody has access to this thing. That is how what life is about. Some people are very introverted, so they don't share things, but we should all learn to do that. All right. Then people who support you without trying to control you. People who celebrate you, who are not envious of you. You know, somebody can inspire you, but don't get envious of them. So you might like what somebody's doing. Oh, I like the way he or she's doing this and they're doing that. I'm so glad for them. I can celebrate them. You understand? Um, so that because the more this world is so big, there is no scarcity anywhere. Don't believe anybody that says things as there is no scarcity. Scarcity is a trauma response. The world is filled with abundance. Don't be afraid that somebody's going to take some of your stuff. Oh my God, this is my region. And if they come into my region, they'll take my people. They'll take my stuff. No, there are too many people for that. There's enough for everyone. There's enough for all of us. All right. In 2026, we want to build relational wealth on purpose. I tell my students, especially when we do the trauma training, we're currently doing the Kadasile training now. I tell them, I'm like, look, I'm sharing with you everything that I know. This everything that I know, I'm sharing it with you. I'm sharing with you all that I know. So take notes because I want you to be very good. Do you understand what I'm saying? I want you to be the best because when you are the best, I feel I get something from it. Do you understand? When you're the best, I know first of all that you're going to take care of people well. So we all can be the best. There's no need for lesser than anybody. No, all of us can be great. You understand? All of us can be great. All of us can do well. There is no scarcity in the world. It is a lie. Do you even you know what even when you go to hotels, I was talking to someone in that sector. And they told me something some years ago. They said, when you even go to hotels and they tell you that there are no rooms, that's a lie. There are always rooms. There's no scarcity. It is a lie. So 2026, we're going to not think in terms of scarcity. We're going to think in terms of abundance. There's a technique in therapy, in psychology, called remembering abundance. Remembering abundance. If you've been so stressed, if you haven't had much money, if you haven't had much of this, if you've lacked a lot of things, just your brain start thinking in terms of scarcity. Oh my God, I'm not going to have enough. Oh my God, I'm not going to do this. Oh my God, I'm not going to have enough. I'm not going to do this. That is a trauma response. I want you to remember abundance. All you have to do is look at nature, look at what God has created. Look at the ocean, look at the sky, look at the stars, look at everywhere around you that God has created. Do you see any lack? No, everything is in abundance. So we're going to remember abundance. The people that God has gifted you with, remember them in abundance. Some people don't even have people. You do. You understand? So type in the chat box one thing that describes what you want more of in your relationships. What do you want more of in 2026? Not that you don't have good things, but what do you want more of? What do you want more of in 2026? I want more diversity in my relationships. I want to, I want more diversity. I want more different types of people in my relationships in 2026. I'm ready for it, So that's what I want. What do you want more of in 2026? Put it in the chat box. What do you want more of? Okay, so let's see. Let me see what you guys are giving me. You've been writing a lot, so I don't know where to start. Clarity. Okay. Commitment. Trust people more. Trust. Success. Divine helpers. Dynamic. Peace. Depth and commitment. Growth. Variety. Fulfillment. Collaboration. Success. Engagement. If you've used one word before, try not to use the same exact word that you've used before. You can write a synonym of that word. Abundance mindset. I like that. You know, thank you for, and keep it coming. Whatever word that you just wrote down, that's your target. That's your target for 2026. That's your target. Take it. That's your target. All right. That is your target. So we're going to look at what the symbiosis model looks like. Basically, it's three things. It's trust, it's exchange, and it's expansion. Trust, exchange, and expansion. I'm going to put it on in the chat box for you. There you go. Okay. Symbiosis model is trust, exchange, and expansion. So trust means honesty, right? It means honesty, it means consistency, and it means something else. It means emotional safety. If I don't feel emotionally safe with you, it's going to be difficult for me to trust you. So we want consistency, somebody that is consistent. If you're inconsistent, then who's going to trust you? All right. The reason we trust God is because we know that He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. If it's done it yesterday, He will do it today, He will do it tomorrow. You understand what I mean? Consistency. Inconsistency is the power. That's where you find the power. Consistency, honesty, somebody who is not afraid to speak the truth, right? And not and the truth, not just vomiting something that's going to hurt somebody. That's not what I mean. Some people just want to hurt you and they'll say, "Oh, I'm just speaking the truth in love." Nah, no, you're just hurting people. Emotional safety. Emotional safety. How safe are you? How safe are you? You know, are you, if I share something with you, am I going to hear it in another place? If I trust some, if I open up to you, are you going to use it against me tomorrow? You understand? How safe are you? All right. And so that's trust. So when we're talking about trust, we're looking at consistency, we're looking at honesty, we're looking at emotional safety. Exchange, on the other hand, when we're talking about exchange, we're talking about shared values. What are our shared values? What do we share together? We don't have to be the same. We don't even, honestly, don't even have to be the same religion. But do we have shared values? Do you have some things that we that are important to both of us, that are values for both of us? Yeah. Hmm. Can I trust you? Are you dependable? Right? Are you honest? Support. Somebody who is supportive. Sometimes it's not because of what you give to them. Sometimes it's just encouraging. Sometimes it's just being there. So whatever support it is. And exchange is real contribution. This is important, people. Don't always be the taker in relationships. Don't constantly be the one who is constantly receiving in any relationship. I don't, if it's not just the personal relationship, but even in a ministry, in a business, in a coalition, whatever. Don't be the one that is constantly receiving something. First of all, you're out of alignment when you do that. There are universal principles. Give and receive is not a religious principle, it's a universal principle. It's about giving and receiving. So there has to be something of value that you're bringing into any relationship. What is your real contribution? If you're constantly taking and taking, that is not a balanced relationship. You're not on the same level. Somebody is bringing in, somebody is giving out. That's how it is. There should be some real contribution. Every single one of us has something to give. It's not about money. What are you bringing? What are you bringing into this? What are you contributing? Number three is expansion. So we've talked about trust. We've talked about exchange. There has to be an exchange, people. There has to be an exchange. Come on, there has to be an exchange. So ensure that in 2026, no matter how dependent you think you are, decide not to be so dependent anymore, that you have something to give to this world. You have something to give to people. Expansion means that we're both growing because of this connection. In this relationship, we're both growing. We're growing together in this connection. Because here's the, you hear when leaders say, "Oh, it's so lonely at the top. It's so lonely." You know why it's lonely at the top? It's because you didn't bring anybody along with you. That's why it's lonely at the top. It's because you didn't take anybody with you. If you had spent a little time to get people together so that you'll now start climbing together, so when you're at the top, it's not lonely, right? So both of us are growing. You don't want to be the only one in your group who has it all together. In fact, if you're the only one in your group who knows, if you are the person in your group who knows the most things in your group, out of alignment, right? We always need to be challenged. We always need to be challenged in things that we do. If one of these is missing, either the trust, the exchange, or the expansion, if either one of this is missing, the relationship becomes unstable. The relationship becomes unstable. It's no longer solid. If trust is missing, you're just performing and you're going to work too hard. If exchange is missing, one person is going to constantly overgive. If expansion is missing, then the relationship is stagnant. Nobody's growing anywhere. Nobody's moved. There's no growth in this relationship. Do you understand? So make sure you write the 3 things down. At least copy it. I put it on there. That is the model. It's trust, symbiosis model. It's trust, it's exchange, and it's expansion. Trust, exchange, and expansion. Is this making sense? Are we together?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Only one person, we together? Okay, I
We
see
are here,
yes.
we are together.
Okay. So trust is that I am consistent, I'm consistent, I'm open, I'm honest, I'm emotionally safe. Exchange is that that we have real contribution, we have shared values, we're supportive of each other. Expansion is that we're growing together, that we are growing together. We don't want anything to be missing in this. Our next concept that we're going to look at is called reciprocity versus transaction. Reciprocity versus transaction. I'm going to put it in the chat box for you. I'm typing in. Copy it in. Reciprocity versus transaction. Reciprocity. Reciprocity and transaction are not the same.
Mhm.
A transaction sounds like this. I'll support you if you support me. In fact, a lot of relationships are like that. What are you bringing to the table? I bring this, you bring that. In fact, a lot of marriages are like that. What are you bringing to the table? Bring this, I bring that. Transactional relationship. I'll support you if you support me. If you support me, I'll support you. I'll show up for you if you show up for me. That's transactional. Okay? That's called a transaction. Reciprocity sounds like this. I care about your growth and you care about mine. Okay, mute yourself, please, so that we don't hear your conversation. Esther, help me. I need, who is there, who needs to mute themselves? Please mute yourself. Thank you. No, it's still on. Esther, are you still there? I need you to mute whoever it is. Thank you. All right. So think when it's transactional, one thing is dependent on the other thing. All right. That's not what we want to do in 2026. Here's what we want to do in 2026. We want to say, I care about your growth. I'm saying I care about your growth. I want you to develop. But guess what? You also care about mine. Reciprocity. Okay? We both contribute in the ways that make sense. Reciprocity. We're in this together. We both feel seen. We both feel respected. Reciprocity. Transactional relationships keep score. Okay? Transactional relationships keep score. Oh my God, I was the one who paid for this one. I wanted reciprocal relationships build trust. They're building trust. They're building the other person. We're going to be at a point where you don't have to ask me, about who is paying for this, who is paying for that, or that. That's not what this is about. It's about oh, I know that my friend is doing this kind of project. I might not be able to be a part of it, but I can tell other people about it. Because I want my friend to succeed. Do you understand? If I find something, I can send it to them, and my friend is also going to do the same thing for me. That's what reciprocal relationships look like. We're not keeping score. We're just building trust. We're investing into those relationships. Those are the relationships we want in 2026. So symbiosis is reciprocal, not manipulative. It's not one-sided. So when you're going into 2026, we're already in 2026, but when we're moving into this breakthrough moments that we've been talking about since day one, this breakthrough triad that we want is we want to be reciprocal. We want to have relationships that just flow, reciprocal relationships, building with trust. Not one person is working too hard. Not one person is the only one who wants the best for this other person. Yeah? All right. So that's it. We don't want to be one-sided. We want it to be mutual. But when we talk about all this, we cannot talk about it without looking at when adults are connected, we have to look at this word called attachment. Okay? What do adults need when they're connected? Attachment needs in adults connection. It becomes a thing when we're talking about symbiotic relationships. So this is going a little bit deeper. So come with me. We're going to go a little bit deeper now. Because when you are in relationship with an adult, okay, attachment needs show up in adult relationship. Attachment to attach. Okay? When we're attaching, connection. So those attachment needs will show up even when we don't talk about them. I mean, when you were kids, you kind of knew what to do. We kind of didn't know what to do, but we just stumbled into it. But when you're an adult, those needs come into play. Every adult carries two major needs into their connections. Two major needs. And they sound like opposite of each other. Number one need is the need for closeness. And the other need is the need for autonomy. They want to be close, but they also need their own autonomy. But if you're an adult who has never healed your own wounds, if you've been abandoned, if you've been rejected, if you've been whatever, and you've never healed your own wounds, it's going to be difficult for you to be in an adult relationship because you're going to constantly pull away. You're going to constantly pull away and you're going to think that that person is the problem. The other people are the problem. But it's your own unprocessed traumas that's keeping you from that. Because every adult, it's part of our development. We all have a need for closeness. But if you find yourself constantly sabotaging a relationship, oh, I can't be close to them because they didn't say hello to me this morning. Oh, I can't be close to them because they didn't do this. I can't be close to them. You always find a reason to pull away. If you're constantly pulling away, it might not be the people, it might be you. It might be, why am I pulling away constantly? When closeness feels unsafe, people will pull away. All right. So we have to work on that. Everybody needs to work on their own individual self if you want to have this thriving relationships in 2026. When autonomy feels threatened, just because I'm your friend, just because you're in a relationship with me, and this doesn't mean that you have to lord it over me. I still need my own autonomy. In fact, there's a concept called differentiation. It's the I and the we. All right. That's why in the Cardasile model, we changed the Ubuntu adage that says, I am because we are, right? We switched that to say we are because I am, so that we can also recognize the I. That is, the I is just as important as the we. Yeah. So autonomy is very important. When autonomy is threatened, people will shut down or they'll get defensive. This is important because many conflicts are not about the topic. Many conflicts that we have in relationship is not about the topic that we're talking about. It's because people feel unsafe. They feel that they're not safe. That's where they will pull away. So how can we build symbiotic relationships if we don't have safety? So the first thing that needs to be built in 2026, make yourself a safe person first. And the only way you can do that is to work on your own self. For everyone's assignment is to manage their own nervous system. The beauty of the brain is the brain's plasticity. We can change ourselves at any time in this world. Yeah? Can change yourself. Balance your nervous system. I talked about it I think in day one, so listen to that. But also decide to meditate yourself into a new place. The fastest way to change yourself is through meditation. Meditation. If you have I'm trying to see if I have the book here. The book I usually I usually show people, refer people to. It is I think it's called the habit of being myself or something like that. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. No, I can't find it, but I have the book of I have the author's I have the author's the other book here. This book is called The Placebo. If you can see it, it's called The Placebo. That's not the book I want to show you, but this is a great book too if you're thinking of changing your life. It's really great. But the book that I'm trying to refer you to is called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. That's the book. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And then the the author is Joe Dispenza, Dr. Joe Dispenza. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. If you want to get the placebo, get it too. But the one I'm asking you to do, the one on meditation, and if you're my student, you already know this. It's breaking the habit of being yourself, right? That the the fastest way to change your life is through meditation, and it just takes you step by step in how to do it, and how to do that. Get yourself emotionally safe. Transform yourself. Make sure that you're not living in your survival brain constantly. If you're constantly in your survival brain, it's difficult to have a symbiotic relationship. It just doesn't work because you're always going to be on the defensive. You're always trying to protect yourself. Yeah, I don't want to be hurt. I don't want to be, I don't want to be if you're like that, then it's going to be difficult to move into this next step. So I strongly suggest that you help yourself in that way. Build your own emotional safety. Make sure that you're a safe person. And I want you to, to reflect, just reflect quietly. In your relationships, do you tend to move towards people, or do you tend to move away from people once things start getting stressful? Do you, I was watching, I love watching, well, when I had, I don't watch them anymore because I think I've watched almost all of it. So anyway, Turkish movies, Turkish series, if any, they're like K movies because they have like 10 different seasons, 80 episodes. It's just a long anyway. And I tell my students, my trauma students, like if you want to learn about trauma, watch this Turkish shows. But anyway, I was watching one of them. I guess you can Nigerian shows too, but I don't have too many Nigerian shows that have the series like that. Maybe I just don't know about them. But anyway, so I was watching one day, and this lady, she wanted to date this guy. She wanted to date this. She was the cook in the house, and she wanted to date the driver. Okay. And she would tell everybody else, all the staff in the house, you know what? Oh my God, I like him so much. I would want to, I want to date him, blah, blah, blah. I would like to go out with them, all of this stuff. She was saying that for like over a year. Okay. The guy also liked her. And one day, after about a year and a half, this guy comes into, so that must have been episode 80 something, season number 3, whatever. So the guy now comes in and into the kitchen to ask her out and said, would you like to, to go on a whatever, walk with him or, buy her some coffee, something. He said something to take her out. And you know what happened? This woman flipped on him. It's like, how dare you ask me out? What are you crazy? Who do you think you are? So just, and it was like, and some of you would say, oh, that's TV. No, it's not. Some of my clients do this. I'm telling you. I've had clients who will be like, they'll cuss out their partner, and then they come to the session and I'm like, I don't even know why I did that. I have no idea why I did that. Oh, yes, you do. You know why you did that. The reason and this particular woman, after the guy just looked at her and just like, just sheepishly just left. And she stood there and she was like, why did I just do that? What happened to me? If it's hysterical, it is historical. If there's a lot of if you're acting out of control about something, it's not about the other person, it's about you. Of course, in season number 5 or so, we found out why she did all of that. She was just afraid. She was just afraid that this guy would not like what he saw. A lot of the times we act out of fear. We act because we want to cover some things up, but we cannot live life like that. Nobody is perfect. With your very imperfect self, you're going to step into 2026. You're imperfectly perfect. You're imperfectly perfect. We're all imperfectly perfect. Don't listen to anyone who thinks that they're perfect. Nobody is perfect. Nobody. All right. Nobody is perfect. And we all know that. We all say that, but we don't act like that. Right. So let people see your scars. Let people see you, that you're a work in progress. You're a work in progress. You're a work in progress. So it is important. So think about it. Do you tend to move towards people or away from people? Do you always say, oh, people always hurt me. I always get hurt. This always happened to me. You don't need to explain it. Just notice it. You need to just notice it. You don't even need to write it on here. Just notice it. Just notice it. So how we are going to do a relationship in 2026, how we're going to do relationships in 2026. How are we going to do it? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you asked. So if you if you are writing things down, I want you to, on a piece of paper, draw 3 circles. Circle number 1 is fuel. These are the relationships that strengthen you. And I'm going to put in the chat box. Circle number 2 is drain. These are relationships that just exhaust you. They confuse you. And circle number 3 is repair or release. These are relationships that need a hard conversation or a boundary. These are the ones you might be able to save. All right. Let me put it down here for you. Are you all still with me? Yes, yes. Let me hear yes, yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
I only hear one person, 2 people. Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
All right.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I see, I see. Yeah, let me know that you're still with me, people. Very good. All right. So here we go. You have those 3 circles, right? Circle 1 is, these are relationships that fuel you. These are relationships that make you better. They strengthen you. These are relationships that, they're solid relationships. Do you understand? These are the relationships that, come on, let's go. Let's go. We're going together. These are those relationships. Relationship 2, they're relationships that just exhaust the heck out of you, or they just confuse you. These are people that take. Circle 3, or number 3, they don't have to be circles. Number 3 is, these are relationships you can do something about. These are relationships that need a coming to Jesus conversation, like a hard conversation, or relationships that need boundaries. And sometimes we allow our culture to give us headaches. No. I've had clients who, I had one client who, her mother was giving her the worst, her mother traumatized her all through her growing up. All right. And now she's married, and the mother would still call her to cuss her out. Cuss her out in her husband's house, cuss out her husband, cuss out everybody. And she would call almost every day to do this. When a mother or a parent calls a child, it's usually to bless them, to say something good or gist with them. Not this woman. She will pretend that she's calling to do something good. At the end of it, like the conk Yoruba curses, she will give it to this girl. But this lady, when we were talking, and we come to the mother's story, which is a woman who literally brought her into the state that she was at the time. And something very simple. I said, so why are you picking up the phone? I don't understand. I don't understand. Because sometimes we collude religion and culture and think that means that we need to suffer. Like, for what? I said, why are you picking up the phone? Well, the Bible says we should respect, honor your parents. Then the culture says, oh, I need to respect my. I said, no. See, you're taking scripture out of context. Okay. You are sitting there so that this woman will now come and abuse you. She's not well. She's not well. So let's draw a boundaries around the phone calls. Okay? So here's what we're going to do. You will not pick any of her calls, not one. And then you're going to call her. We decided on a day. She decided she will call her on a Saturday. And she's going to literally have a timer, 5 minutes. All right. She's going to have a timer for 5 minutes. Hello, Ma. How are you? How is everything? Oh, then she's going to list all her stuff. Oh, this one is doing okay. This one is doing this. This one is doing this. How are you doing, Ma? So see, now that's about 3.5 minutes already, because she's going to tell her the story of herself. By the time the mother opens her mouth to start talking, you haven't called me. You didn't pick up all my calls. Guess what? 5 minutes ringer. Oh, mama, sorry, I have to go. She did this for like 3 months. Guess what happened? The mother started, Shimosheni. You know, that relationship changed. She now got the power. There's some relationships that you have to redefine. Don't allow something uh, don't stay stuck because you think some, scripture wants you to suffer. That's not true. Or no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. That's why some women stay with abusive men. Some men stay with abusive women. You know? Do you know that if you die, you die. If you die, the life goes on. That's it. That is it. You are also a child of God. God did not create you to go into any marriage so that somebody can treat you like a nonsense person. That is not scripture. That is not anything. Do you understand? So we have to use, sometimes it's even just common sense. Another time it's just wisdom. You understand? Just wisdom. You have to take care of yourself. Nobody is, if you're not well, you can't take care of others. If you're not well, you won't be a safe place. So be well in 2026. Take care of you. Please take care of you. If not, you'll just be a messed up person who is just bitter. Take care of you. If a relationship needs boundaries to be drawn around it, draw boundaries around it. If you keep doing something for somebody and they never even say thank you, why are you doing it? Stop. Some people say, oh, well, I'm just doing it because, and when you do it, you're upset. It's not that you're happy, you're upset. There's no blessing in that. All right? So it's important that in 2026, draw your boundaries. Nurture the relationships that fuel you. It takes effort. If somebody is important to you, it should not be a guesswork. If somebody is important to you, they should know that they're important to you. And how do they know? Because you tell them, because you show up for them, because you go out of your way to be there. Let them know that they're important to you. That's how that's how people know that they're important. Not because you're praying for them. Oh my goodness, that's another one. Don't let me get on my soapbox. It's okay to pray for people, but if you're praying for me and I never know that you're praying for me, if we are not developed, there's no relationship being developed. That's just your own spiritual growth. That's what you're doing. To build a relationship, you have to get in the space. You have to get in the space with the person. They have to hear your voice. They have to read your text. They have to know that you're there. You understand? That's how you build relationships. Relationships take work. Relationships takes work, and they're different relationships. We won't get into that right now. So the relationships will fuel you. Those are the ones you want to strengthen. The ones you drain you, constantly taking from you, I hope you don't have too many of those. If you look at your relationships and they're filled with those that drain you, it's not those other people's issue. That's you. What's going on? Why are you attracting people that drain you? You understand why? Why are you attracting people who drain you? You shouldn't. There's no time for that. And then there's family. There's relationships that are classic relationships that you might sometimes need to just, have hard conversations or draw boundaries around them. All right? That's important. All right, so I want you to write down these ones. Write down family, co-worker, old friends, clients, or communities. You know the three things I asked you to write? Remember those three sectors? Do you remember it? This first circle was fuel, that fuel you. The second one was one that drain you. The one that needs repair or release. So you don't need to put this in the chat box, by the way. So in each of those circles or in which of those categories, write down, who is fueling you? Is it family? You can put their names. Is it a coworker? Is it an old friend? Is it a client? Is it a community? So fill out the three categories. Strength, the ones that fuel you, the ones category 2, they drain you. Category 3, you need to repair or release them. All right? Take a minute and write that down. You can write their names. Nobody has to see this but you. Okay?
Move your hands and shift.
So put in the 3 categories that we talked about. I need you to fill those out. What are the relationships in your life that fuel you? What are the relationships in your life that drain you? And where are the relationships in your life that you need to either repair or release them? Okay? So make a list. Now, once you have that list, I want you to choose one relationship from each category and write your action step. Okay? So what does that look like? The first category is fuel, relationships that fuel you. Pick one name from that category, and write an action step. What does that look like? So for fuel, the action step is, how will you deepen this relationship? One person in fueling. How will I deepen this relationship? You with me? Drain. What boundaries do I need, or do I need to let them go? Or do I just need to, drain? What boundaries do I need for people who drain me? Repair or release category. What truth do I need to speak to this particular category? What truth do I need to speak? So category 1, how will I deepen this relationship? Category 2, drain. What boundaries do I need to set? Category 3, what truth do I need to speak? Category 1, how am I going to appreciate this person further? How are we going to deepen this relationship? Category 2, how am I going to set boundaries for someone who drains the heck out of me? Category 3, what do I need to tell this person? What truth do I need to tell this person about myself? About this relationship? All right? This is how you stop letting your relationships run your life by default. Too many relationships, especially in our culture, we just allow relationships to just run our lives. We collude culture with trauma. We collude religion with trauma, and we just let it run our lives. Not in 2026, no more. Stop letting your relationships run your life by default. And somebody's saying, look, Dr. Marina, I'm married to somebody who drains my life. It's not funny, but basically it's like, what am I supposed to do? I don't want to divorce them. So what am I supposed to do? You don't have to divorce anyone. You literally have to decide to be in the driver's seat of your own life. That's all it means. See the relationship for what it is. This is a transactional relationship. I'm going to give what I'm supposed to give in the relationship, but I'm not going to die in this relationship. I'm going to live. Determined to live. Determined to live. Take care of yourself. A lot of women are stuck because they do not have any economic currency. Do something. Everybody has gifts and power. Do something with your hands, with your talent. Do something to keep you happy. All right, somebody still needs to mute themselves. All right, we're rounding up. Well, I think we are. Boundaries are important. So our next concept is boundaries as love. Some of you have no boundary. Boundaries are important. Boundaries as love. Boundaries as love. Now, I'm not talking about walls. Some people just have walls built up. They have walls. They've erected walls around them. The problem with walls is walls will keep people away from you. But guess what? What else it's going to do? It's going to make you a prisoner. You don't want to be a prisoner. We're opening all those doors in 2026. Just because somebody hurt you, just because a man hurt you, just because a woman hurt you, doesn't mean that all men will hurt you. It doesn't mean that all women will hurt you. So get out of the prison. You are released from the prison. But one thing I'm going to strongly suggest, somebody needs to mute. I can still hear sounds. One thing I'm going to strongly suggest is erecting your boundaries. Boundaries are flexible. Walls are too permanent. Boundaries as love. Boundaries is a loving thing to do. Very loving. People think that boundaries are rejection. Like when I told you the story of my client that I said, don't pick up the phone call. Some of you are like, oh my God, how can you not pick up your mom's phone call? Well, if your mom is constantly cussing you out, you need a boundary. You understand? The most loving thing you can do is to protect yourself at that point. So some people think boundaries means that you're rejecting the other person. No, that's not it. Boundary is love. It is loving. It's a protection. It's respect. It's that you know who you are. All right? So we all need to set boundaries to make relationships safer. You need to set boundaries to remove you second guessing yourself. Sometimes you need to set boundaries so you're not resentful of the other person. And the worst one is silent anger. You're doing all the right things physically, but you're silently angry. So you need a boundary. If you have boundaries, then you're no longer silently angry. In a lot of relationships, that's what kills it the most. People, they're not saying anything. They're doing all the right things. You're waking up and doing what you think a good husband should do or a good wife to do, but you're silently fuming and just angry. That's because you don't have boundaries. Symbiosis needs boundaries because both people deserve to stay whole. We both deserve to stay whole. So you can say something like this: I value our relationship, but I need to be clear about what works for me. What works for me. This is what works for me. That statement can change your life. What works for you? You have to be clear about what works for you. Because if you're not clear about what works for you, how is the other person going to know? How is the other person going to know? Don't try to perform in relationships. Stop trying to impress in relationship. We need to be real in relationships. We want to be able in symbiotic relationship are so powerful that when they work, things are, starts to happen exponentially. Yeah. So what are you building right now? What kind of relationships are you building right now? What kind of people do you need around you in 2026? That you can answer in the chat box. What kind of people do you need around you in 2026? In this season? What are you bringing to the table? What do I offer that helps people grow? I love that one. So, two things I want you to answer. There are three questions. Actually, you can choose to answer any one of them. The first one is, what am I building right now? The second one is, what kind of people do I need around me? The third one is, what do I offer that helps other people grow? I'm going to put in the chat box because I want to see your answers. You don't have to answer every single one. You could if you wanted to, but at least try at least one. What are you building right now? What kind of relationships are you building? What kind of people do I need around me? I said need around me. And what do I offer, that helps others grow? Let's see what we have. Yeah? Let me see your answers here. Honest people, non-toxic people. Okay? I've only seen two people. Are you all don't sleep on me now. Should be vibrant. I see vibrant people. Okay, I like that. Building myself. I like that. Oh, Aaron and So we see. You need to explain to us what are Aaron and especially if they're not Christians. Tell us what that means, Irene, please. Um, Intelligent, focused, people who get me and I get them. I love it. Um, I'm building a space around me that engenders wellness. I need encouragers and fellow builders around me. Vision helpers. Okay, thank you. Supportive people, transparent people. Yeah. Now, no, but I don't think oh, Steve, I see your hand up. Go ahead. Steve, you
Hi,
raised your
hi.
hand. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes,
Hi.
please. Yes, please. I- I'm looking this from a point of someone like me who is apart from other things, majorly I'm a minister of the gospel. I'm a pastor. I pastor a church,
Uh-huh.
and I'm looking at this kind of relationships from the point of a pastor,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm wondering, and I'm putting it as a question: how does someone like me, a pastor is a leader, is a community leader, is a person who loves people who cannot reciprocate, people who you find people who take advantage. There are people that will never uh, reciprocate anything, but there are those who do it. But majorly, you find that space which you already said you had been in that space for quite some time, and I'm wondering how does someone like a pastor, and I'm honestly asking this because I need guidance. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we need people around us. We need people who are not as strong, who cannot reciprocate much. Some can even take from you for a long time, but you're trying to get patient that sometimes they'll get strong and all that. You need to improve them. Even if you do whatever you do for them, it's not like you're waiting for anything from them. So
Yeah.
how does someone like a pastor put some of these boundaries? Because most of the relationship you find a pastor has with the people he leads or she leads, it's people who drain. So it's you don't find people who those who fuel are very few, but those who
Yeah.
drain are the majority. I would want to know, how do I drop? What do I do? Do I quit? Do I, if I
Don't
ignore them, I
quit.
have to draw them with love. I mean, for someone like me, it's quite hard. Help me, please.
Yeah. All right. I love that question, by the way. And it's not just pastors that go through this. There's people, it's a lot of people in the helping positions where you're dealing with people who are in need constantly, emotionally in need, psychologically in need, spiritually in need or needy. Those are the people you're dealing with. So it's not just pastors, but I'm glad you brought it up for pastors, because I've had this conversation with a lot of pastors. The one of the challenges that we have in when it comes to ministry is that people, especially when you're in a smaller congregation, all right, it's people having to do everything alone. Like the pastor is omniscient in a way. Like the pastor knows everything. So everybody's pastor this, pastor that, pastor that. And especially in our part of the world where the pastor is usually like the babalawo. The pastor is usually like the person that we hail in everything, the person who has all the answers. And so that, first of all, that setup is setting a lot of people up to fail, because it completely isolates you. It isolates you because now you got to be like this big person who has all of the answers and for the congregation. So that setup is dangerous. That setup is dangerous. So one of the things I would say is find the leaders around you. I mean, I'm sure you have already done this, and I'm going to come back to your question, but I'm getting there, and I know other people can also answer it in the chat box. Find the people around you, because if you remember the story of Moses, when what's the guy who came to see him and said, "What are you doing? You're going to kill yourself." Find the people around you who you can delegate to. All right. So you don't have to hear everybody's stories. Okay. I even tell pastors, number one, if you're not a trained counselor, what are you doing? Because there's a spiritual counsel, and there's counsel that has to do with how these people need some knowledge based therapists to help them. So that's that question. Making sure that you're not the only one who is responsible for everybody. Let other people be responsible, and let them be responsible. And so that you're not so overwhelmed. Then the answer to your question, really, after you've done this, which I'm hoping that you've done, is remember everybody. And when I see that hand, just keep it up. I'm gonna get to you. The Every single one of us in the helping profession needs to create our own core, our own people that fuel us. So yes, you might have the entire congregation, coming at you, but this thing that we're talking about is not about the many people around you. No, this is about the symbiotic relationship. These are about the people that you surround yourself with, not the church, not the job, not the ministry, not that. That's not this, but in your own core. So when I leave the church, or when I leave the work, when I leave the ministry at night, when I leave it at 5 p.m. in the morning, who are the people that I'm going to? When I need help, do I have another pastor or another leader that I can call? That do we on Saturdays? All my Saturdays so busy that I don't have time to go chill out with another friend of mine. That's what I'm trying to say. You have to build those things. You have to build them. So it's not the people. They're always going to have needy people. You're always going to have people who want something from you. They're not the ones we're talking about today. We're talking about your own core, your own room, your own core. Who are the people around you? That's the one we're talking about. Does that make sense? Yesterday, when we're talking about the synergy and talking about ministries and stuff like that, you know, that had to do with movements. How are we going to move together in a project? Today we're talking about your own personal relationships. So look at the people that you have around you. Who are the people who are fueling you? Who are the people who always want from you? Those are not your church people I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people who are close to you, your core. That's the one I'm talking about. Because the church people, you don't go home with them. You don't, you know what I mean? That's your job. That's your calling. What we're talking about today, it's personal, if that makes sense. Steve, does that make sense? Did that answer your question? Feel free.
Yeah. Very clear, and I get you. I'm able to draw the parallel. The reason I asked this is when you told us to put the three circles, and we look at family, the coworker, old friend, client, and community. That's what made me bring out this question, because
Oh,
that
I
one
see.
took me out of now my personal
Oh, I
relationship.
see. I see. I see. I see.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Because I have to look at a ministry as a community. I have to look at
Uh-huh. Yeah.
as
Yeah.
a family, and I also have to look at like these members are my clients, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's what
So
made me think.
yeah, those are some boundaries that you should already put in place for work. Like what I said, let people who are in charge take care of people who need help. But even for example, some people allow clients to call them at any time of the day. I teach my people, don't do that. What are you doing? That's your boundary. Don't let your clients call you at any time. If there's an emergency, they should call 911, or I don't know, whoever they call in your country, not you. You understand? So there's some boundaries around that. There's some boundaries around the people you're working for. Um, you should have a boundary about what time are you in church? When do you go home? You have a time where you go home and go play with your own wife, with your own children and stuff. Those are boundaries you can put in place. You understand? And
Very,
people
yeah.
might not like it, but they'll get used to it. People might not like it, but they'll get used to it. That's just how it is. You know. Um, Winifred. Winnie, are you still there?
Yes, yes, I'm here. I'm here. Yeah, it's on the topic of boundaries. Now we have been I'm Nigerian, and I've been a Christian for a very long time, since I was 12-year old. When I say Christian, I mean a devoted Christian, a devout Christian, committed to Bible study. I got born again at 12, and that's over 4 decades ago. And so we have learned a way of thinking, and a way of giving, love the other person, and that has really trained our mind. And so now we are having to unlearn this, and learn how to have healthy relationships with other people. Now
Yep.
I'm looking at healthy relationship with yourself. How do you, in this unlearning process, you would deal with guilt? Because you are changing your nervous system will have a vote, because it's like, I'm so used to behaving one way, and now you want to behave a different way. So you're going to like feel guilty. Oh, so how do you kind of win over your nervous system? How do you remember not to feel guilty? How do you remember to put that boundary? How do you turn theory to practice? Because I'm here, I'm listening to you, it's all theoretical. I'm going to say, yeah, I will do it. But when the time
Absolutely.
comes, before I know what, I have defaulted back to my old way of thinking. My nervous system has taken over, and even my reptilian brain has kicked in,
Yep.
even before my prefrontal cortex, and I've gone back to the same old behavior, and I'm like, oh my goodness, Winifred, when are you going to put boundary? I'm putting boundaries with my children, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm always going back to the same old way.
Yeah.
My family members, not just my children, but I'm always
Yeah.
going, always sabotaged by my nervous system because I've been part of just this culture and this religious belief system that I feel has taken me captive and kind of imprisoned me into this way of thinking where
Yeah.
I'm exhausted. But
Yeah.
and I've heard the theory. I've come to so many of your trainings, but
Yeah.
so please, that's my question. Thank you.
That's a great question, honestly. That is such a powerful question for all of us. And whatever we focus on expands. So I'm just going to go through just a few things, right? Because I've also had to walk this myself. This is not just theory for me. I've had to change my life this way, in different ways. Um, One of the things, the first thing is is immersion. So the first thing is you have to decide that this next few months, I am going to think about changing the direction of this relationship, and this is why I'm going to do it. I remember when I was learning about love. Okay, people would think, how can you say you're learning about love? There was a year, about a decade ago or so, I decided to learn what love is. This love that we talk about, like, what is it? And because I didn't really think I understood it as well, because, love your neighbor, go the extra mile, do all of these things. And what does that mean for me as a person? What does that mean for me? You understand? But when I was learning that, I went into meditation. And I usually would write things down or write it on that was when, I would let it scroll on my computer. I would meditate on it. I would write it everywhere, what it is, what it means to me, it took me a whole year of this, a whole year of this. Okay. This was not any 2 or 3 day thing. It was about a whole year. And then things started happening, just like I started seeing people differently. I started seeing myself differently in relationships. So the first thing is just to get out of that reptilian mind, or get out of that nervous system that's trying to derail you. And the only way to do that is to shock and awe it. You got to shock and awe it. So whatever it is that you're trying to change, is it, a parent who is overbearing, or this is over this? You need to think on what you want, and what you want has to be all consuming. See, your brain doesn't know the difference between what is real and what is imagined. It doesn't know. So you got to imagine and you got to elaborate. Just make it big. It's got to be big. And then you need a partner, somebody that can encourage you in this. You need somebody that an accountable person, accountability partner, somebody that can say, okay, go for it, do this, whatever. Someone that's constantly encouraging you, because you can get tired in it, right? And then you need a system. How are you going to manage that? Especially when it comes to culture and religion. Your head, some people stay in places where they are being stepped on so much that they even die there. Some people, it's their parents, some people is their whatever. And so so sometimes it's not just me doing it by myself, it's me doing it in collaboration with somebody else. So if it's not a therapist, then find somebody else. Find somebody who can help you in that journey. Yeah. So it is, oh, okay, this is the strategy we're going to use today. So you also need a strategy. Strategies are very good in this. And so this is how we're going to work this strategy today. And then I'm going to keep at it until I see it starting to work, if that makes sense. Yeah. So the first one is shock and awe, like literally overwhelm the nervous system with whatever it is, overwhelm the mind with whatever it is that you're trying to change. So you already have the knowledge, just meditate it. Secondly, is find somebody who is going to be with you during this journey. It's always the symbiotic relationship, basically. And then thirdly, you have a strategy and stay with the strategy. This thing is so doable. All right. I'm a fawner. If you know what the trauma personalities, the trauma personality, there are four trauma personality types. There's the fight personality, which is the one that, the fight personality is the aggressive person. The person will give it to you before you give it to them. They always know what to say. That's that. They can even be bullies and stuff because they've been bullied before. People have been aggressive to them before, so they will turn into their own perpetrator, the fight. The flight will be the one who gathers all of the accolades. They have all of the certificates. They're this, and the whole point of that is I will be so successful that nobody can mess with me. That's the flight personality. All right. The freeze personality is a personality that says, I don't like people. I don't want to talk to them. So that's a person that doesn't want to go out. They don't want to do anything with people. But then there's the fawn personality, FAWN. The fawn personality is a personality that wants to save everybody, that wants to please everybody. That's their own way of staying out of trouble. So they're the Messiah, they have the Messiah complex, they have the Savior complex. I am that. I was that. Let me say that. I was that, you know, and mm, and then you now come into Christianity. Then what does Christianity say? Give and you share this one. Go the extra mile. This. So Christianity now colluded with my trauma. So everything was just about everybody else, everybody else, everybody else, everybody, and then the culture also colluded with it. So we got the Christianity, we got my trauma, and we got culture that enhances the trauma response. So when I was going to change that, it took me a long time. But I did that book I was telling you guys about. I had to what is it called again? I always forget it. The Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. I had that book. I thoroughly digested it, right? Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. I did that. And then I came to the point where I was now ready. But when I said I was ready, I would have to say the things to myself. I was sharing one with you guys in day one. Remember? I think I went to the store. My friend told me to buy her a perfume. I went to the store, expensive perfume. I was going to buy this perfume for her. Then I thought, wait, I don't even have this perfume. Why am I buying it for somebody else? The old me would not have thought of that. The old me would, even if I didn't have the money for the perfume, I would go and get the money for the perfume to buy it for the other person. I don't do that anymore. But I have to talk to myself because my natural bent is to do those things. That is how you change. First of all, is realizing what trauma response is, realizing what culture and religion will do for you, all right, to collude with your traumas, all right, and then you begin to release yourself and heal yourself. Winifred, I think I talked a lot. I'm not sure if I answered your question. I hope I did.
Yes, you did. And what comes to my mind as you talk is that I have to go and do some research on Christianity, culture, and character, and how Christianity and culture has shaped my character and just the way I think.
Absolutely.
But you talked about different personalities. What about the flop personality?
What about the what?
The flop.
Well, there's several ones, and the major ones are the ones I shared, right? That is going to be another lecture another day. Now, do you consider yourself a flop
I consider
Winnie? Oh, I hope.
myself, yes, Yeah. Actually, that's what. And maybe I have to Google it. I wasn't sure what a flaw personality is. I've never heard of these stress responses as a personality. I've heard of the stress responses, but this is the first time I've heard of it. You
Oh,
referring to
yeah.
it as a
Wait,
personality.
that means you haven't
So I
received
wanted to
you.
know.
You haven't. That
Yeah.
means you haven't really searched done all of my
Yes.
stuff. Yeah.
I'm going to do. I just actually reached out to Bingpay that I need to do. I need to do some more training this year because the
Okay.
last one I did was 2020. Mhm.
Thank you. Let's move on because I don't want to I can get drawn into personality types. It's its own thing. All right. We have one more concept before we go. It's called the network ecology. The network ecology. And I know there's been a lot of typing in the chat box. I'm sorry, I haven't been able to look at it. Is there any question I'm supposed to respond to? Let me know afterwards. Network ecology. What? So, your relationships should not be random. All right. And they are not random. They literally form an ecosystem. That's what it is. Your relationships forms an ecosystem. All right. In every ecosystem, we have patterns. We talked about patterns yesterday too. Okay. So basically, in your relationships, who has access? Who gets support? Who gives too much? Who stays silent? Who always leads? Who always follows? Every ecosystem has this. System has this. Right? When you do not design your own network, your network will design you. Okay? You're literally going to fall into one of these patterns. Even if you do not intentionally design this, the network, the system will design you. This is why I tell people every family has its own DNA, its own system. The system will put you into different positions. In symbiosis means that you are going to build an ecosystem where you can support, trust, trust is flourishing, opportunities circulate. You can create that ecosystem for yourself. That's what you want. So, but here's the question. What role do you usually play in your network? What is your role? Are you the helper? Are you the leader? Are you the fixer? What is your role? Are you the quiet one? Are you the one who disappears? What is your pattern? What is your role in your network? Are you a helper? Are you a leader? Are you a fixer? Are you the quiet one? Are you the one who just kind of, goes away? We've been talking about culture, and it's so great that we've been talking about culture a little bit today, because when we're talking about we're going to talk about repair. How do we repair culture? Relational culture. It literally means that you don't run away from the conflict, you repair it quickly. Name the issues early, because when you've had them for decades, it becomes difficult. And no matter how much you were hurt in one relationship, in fact, let me just pause right now. If you've been hurt, if you've been abused in any kind of relationship, don't enter another one, please, until you have healed yourself, because you won't be able to see clearly. I'm talking about romantic relationship, even friendship sometimes. Most relationships don't end because of one big betrayal. It's because issues were not named early enough. They usually end because of small ruptures here and there that were never repaired. And I'm not talking about abusive relationships. Now, I'm not talking about somebody beating you up. That's not what I'm talking about. Most relationships will end because small ruptures were never repaired. So in 2026, think about saying stuff like this. I want to come back to what happened. I value us. Can we talk about, what happened yesterday? Stop leaving everything alone, finding a religious reason not to say anything because it just doesn't go away. And another thing people will say is, oh, I forgive them. There are two different types of forgiveness. Major, there's the cognitive forgiveness. There's several types of forgiveness, but made two categories I'm going to talk about. There's a cognitive, which a lot of religious people do. I forgive them. I forgive them. God said I should forgive them. I forgive them. But you're still hurt. You're still hurting. That means that you haven't released them emotionally. Anytime you can talk to somebody and say, I want to come back to what happened. I value us. I want us to be stronger. Can we talk about it? That is called relational maturity. We're maturing. We're growing up in here. So symbiosis requires that you repair culture. You have to repair it. Don't allow culture to be the one that messes you up. Every time you're growing in any relationship, there will be tension. So this is your follow-up from Thrive. This is our gift to you from Thrive, your 30-day connection. I want you to write down 3 names today. Remember, you wrote down some names earlier. Maybe they'll be the same names. I don't know. Write down 3 names from today, from what you've listed today. If another one comes to your head, that's fine. 3 people you want to stay connected to. Now, write down next to each name what I can offer them in the next 7 days. What can I offer these 3 people in the next 7 days? And I'm going to write this down for you. I'm going to put this down for you. Let me see. Let me put this down for you. What can I offer them in the next 7 days? And then what I want to ask them in the next 7 days. That second part might be very difficult for some of us. Because people like to give, give, give. Now, choose one weekly rhythm for the next 30 days. What does that look like? It means one message every Monday, one check-in call every Friday, one resource share every week. Pick something realistic. This is just an example. You need a weekly rhythm. That's all we're calling it. This is just an example. You need a weekly rhythm. Just somebody you're going to stay connected to. Okay? Speak something realistic, but you're going to do it weekly. Weekly. Because we want to create a better, a symbiotic relationship in 2026. So we're going to connect to that. We're going to connect to that. One relationship I will deepen after Thrive is, put it in the chat box. One relationship I will deepen after Thrive, which is today, is, put that down. What is it? One relationship that you're going to deepen, just one. We're going to end with this. One relationship I will deepen is, put it down. One relationship I will deepen in this after thrive. I don't see you. I don't see it. One relationship. Put it down. What is the one relationship you're going to deepen? And you don't have to tell us their name specifically. You can just tell us it's a family, it's a friend, it's a child, it's a this. Put it down because you want to we want to hold you responsible. I mean, you want to hold yourself responsible. We cannot hold you responsible. One relationship you're going to deepen. Are you all still there or did you leave me?
We're still here, ma.
We're here.
All right, but I'm
We're
not seeing.
thinking.
Oh, you're
Still
thinking.
here.
Okay. Because I'm like, okay, only two people I've just written. I've only see two people, daughter, mom, you know. All right. Okay. Keep coming with it, guys. I'll see. Just keep coming. One relationship you're going to deepen this after this whole conversation. All right. You did something powerful in 3 days. We've done something very powerful in 3 days. Get the recording. And we also have a workbook. If Bing is here, we have a workbook that if you're part of this, we're going to share it with you in an email of sorts. I don't know. If Bing is here, you know, but get the recording and listen to it over and over. You opened yourself to this breakthrough triad. You've built synergy through alignment. You've created symbiosis through trust and exchange and expansion. You know, now the work is simple. Follow through, follow through, follow through. All right. Message the people, keep the rhythm, protect your boundaries, repair quickly, build relational wealth. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me today. This is Thrive 2026. All right. And I wish you everything. I wish you love. I wish you wealth. I wish you everything. We do have the healing circle tomorrow. For those of you who listen to the different personality types, or if you have any other relational kind of challenge, you want to be part of the healing circle, let us know that. You know, send us a message, either WhatsApp a message or put it here or put in the chat box that you want to be a part of the healing circle so that Bingpe can reach out to you. All right. Thank you, everyone. And I will see you. I'm expecting your testimonies. Yay! Yes. I'm expecting your testimonies. That's what I am expecting. Thank you so much for being part of this today. I'm going to stop the recording.